Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are. And welcome to this NavSkills webinar. My name is Mark Brummel, and today Dimitri Katsun will be our presenter, and the topic of the webinar will be Production Tenant extensions. I have a terrible cold, so I will keep it very short. I just have a couple of housekeeping rules before I hand it over to Dimitri. As you know, all webinars are recorded. You can find them on our YouTube channel, and this is the URL. Very happy that we are actually currently at 200,000 views on the YouTube, so that's pretty cool. The new webinars can be found on our NavSkills website. We have been quiet for a little bit because of personal circumstances across multiple members of our teams. But next year we will continue with the webinars on a more regular base. If you have any questions, please use the GoToWebinar question window. Dimitri will present about 45 minutes, and after 45 minutes you will have the opportunity to ask questions. Don't keep your questions until the end. If you think about a question, just type them in, and if I think it's super important, I will interrupt Dimitri, and otherwise I will collect all the questions at the end and make sure that they are all answered. We do have a new sponsor for our webinars. I'd like to thank 4Nav for sharing with them their GoToWebinar and letting us use the account for this. So with that, no further delay, I'm going to make Dimitri presenter. Dimitri, you have the floor. And I'm going on mute.
So, good. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is pre-holidays days, and we are very excited that you are here. So today, actually, it's also cold here. Outside it's about -10, and I am sitting near the heater. So I think that I will hurry in today's presentation. So today we'll talk about tenant customizations. I hope you see my screen. So today we will start with how generally we can customize Business Central, what are the tenant customizations, how to build them, how to deploy them, how to upgrade them, and we will do 3 different demos. All this stuff is based on my personal experience from a real project which we started with Mark about half a year ago, and so I will focus you on what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So yeah, and enjoy, have fun, and I hope that all our demos will work correctly. So my name is Dimitri Katsun. I'm MVP of Business Applications. I think you know me. So I was a speaker at NavTech Days, and it's actually I think the 4th time I'm here holding a webinar on a NavSkills channel, and it's always an honor to be here and a responsibility, of course. So let's start with the customization scenarios, how we can customize Business Central. So you know that we have 2 different options of Business Central. So we have on-prem and cloud. So we have a platform and we have application. This is our Business Central, and they are actually the same as on-prem as on a cloud. So how can we customize them? So this is old way, yeah, but still is an option, but only for on-prem. there is no option to make C-site, to open C-site and develop in Sail in Business Central Cloud. So the second option, which is similar to on-prem and cloud, is tenant customizations. So we will go deeper in tenant customizations today. So you can create tenant customizations for on-prem and for cloud. And one more option that is available only on cloud, you can install apps from the app source. You cannot install apps from app source on-prem. So, tenant customizations. Tenant customization you can read as equal to extension 2 and 0 version. So why do we need tenant customizations? So in a cloud world, Microsoft has different tenants of Business Central. And well, it's good, of course, to upload some apps from the app source, but every tenant is a customer tenant. So it's an installation installation of Business Central for one particular customer. And of course, every customer is individual, and every customer has its own needs. So we have to have opportunities to extend possibilities of Business Central, not only with the app source apps, but only with something that we can apply for particular customer. And this is tenant customizations. So they are in green boxes. So one tenant A, for example, can have one extension, tenant C can have another extension, tenant N and another extension. That's because customer should be in the center. We're making Business Central for customer. So what do you need to have to create tenant customizations, and what include tenant customizations? So first of all, it's a development platform, which is Visual Studio Code. Next, it's a programming language, which is AL. But also, you can create tenant customizations using design mode. So it's a codeless way to create tenant customizations. Next, what object range should you use when you create tenant customization? It's from 50,000 to 99,999. Yeah, so it's those range that we used previously when we created CSI CL customizations. The good news that when you create tenant customizations, these objects are free. So where to test tenant customizations? You have different types of sandboxes. So first, you can just install Business Central on-prem without any Docker and all that stuff. Just old good install, next, and you have Business Central. So that could be your sandbox to build and test tenant customizations. Then you can use Azure containers. Yeah, that's also an option where you can create container in Azure, and Business Central will be as a service, and that will be your sandbox. Also, you can create online sandbox. So if you have online production tenant of a Business Central, you can create a sandbox from that using sample data or using production data. The last option, you can use Docker container. So you can create a container on your VM or your local machine and use it as a sandbox for Business Central and deploy your tenant customizations there and test there. And you have also two different production options. Yeah, so you can deploy your tenant customization to cloud, Business Central, or prem. I want to start with a simple. I think you are familiar with the design mode button inside of Business Central. I will not have a demo for that, just to save a little time. I think you already saw how to create this kind of tenant customizations, or at least you can find that on a web. But what I want to focus you for this option. Design mode means warning. So why? Imagine that you have one tenant of Business Central, yeah, and there are 4 different tenant customizations. You can read it as 4 different extensions. And your maybe power user or yourself click on design mode and add some fields and maybe hide some fields and whatever. What happens there? What happens then? Appears one more extension. Yeah. So and well, it's okay from the first view, but you know, devil is in the details. This extension that appears from a design mode create dependencies on extensions that already installed there. And when you will try to uninstall A or D, in that case you will get an error. And actually this error is not very friendly, because from that you will not understand what's going on. The secret is that there is an extension created from design mode that is dependent on them. And imagine a situation when, for example, you have another dependencies. So all that, yeah, it's a nightmare. So what to do with that? There are 2 different options what you can do with that. So first option, when you create design, when you create an extension for tenant customization from design mode, you should download its code, manually delete dependencies, and then publish it back. But actually, what I will recommend to do, not to use design mode. You can use design mode when you create your tenant customization, if you prefer to work in a UI. But yeah, I will not recommend you to use design mode as a standalone option. So how to build tenant customizations? So first of all, you should open Visual Studio Code with AL extension. Yeah. Then you should create new project with AL Go. Then you should download symbols. No magic here. Then you should activate Tenant extension scope. So if you are not familiar with that, it's a built-in NAL tool that will check if your code will be compatible with production tenant, and if you have everything in place to be able to upload your tenant customization or your extension to a production tenant of Business Central. Then you develop your app using IL language, and then you should generate permission set. Not mandatory step actually, but mandatory if you have new tables. If you have new tables, you have to generate permission set. Then you also can add on install logic. Maybe you want to populate some default values for some tables, or default values for some fields that you added, or maybe you want to populate some configurations or whatever. So you should do that in on install code unit. We will see that on our demos today. And then you build your app. So yeah, on install logic, it's not mandatory. So you can decide if you want to add them or not. So when you will have an app file, it will have version number 1 or 001 or whatever, but it will be the first version. So how you will publish this app to a tenant? So first of all, you should test your app, and you can do that using publish and install option on your sandbox. You can use online sandbox or on-prem sandbox, Docker or Azure containers, so what you prefer. Also, I don't know what's going on with my presentation. Okay. You should test your app on a sandbox. And then when everything is tested, you can upload your app on a production tenant, actually using upload function. We'll also see that in our demos. If you want to add some more functionality in your app, you should increase version. This is very important. You will not be able to upload the same app with the same version to a production tenant. We will also see that in our demos today. Then you can add some upgrade code. If you, for example, changed data schema, if you made some breaking changes like deleted field or changed key or changed field type, you have to create new fields, new keys, and you should create an upgrade code to transfer values from the old fields to new one. Then you build your app. So you will have app with a version 2, and you upload it to a production tenant. So actually that was everything from the theory. Now we will go into a demos. So I actually don't have a slide about business case, but I will describe it. Imagine that I have a shop, and I have a food shop, and I purchase some vegetables or fruits from my vendors, and I want to and I have a problem. There are too many spoiled fruits or vegetables on my stock. I want to prevent that. So I want to create an app that will have, let me show you. So I want to create a simple app. This simple app add one field, which is a Boolean, to an item. Yeah, and I want my stockkeeper to pick this field when he see that this item is spoiled. And when this item is spoiled, I want to prevent posting of purchase order. So I created this very simple code unit, and I subscribe to a purge post code unit on after test purge line. And if I have item, if number is filled, if quantity is not 0, I get item, and if this item field, my field, is marked, I give an error. So you have spoiled food, please remove them from purchase order and try again. So let me, and I have actually two different Business Central here. So this Business Central will be on my Docker, and first I will publish it here and test it here. And an app.json file, you see that I have version number 1. So let me publish this. To my tenant. It first can take some time because I created my Docker container just before our webinar. Okay. Oh yeah, and I also added my field to an item list, and I added this field to item card. Yeah, so very simple app. And I have here two different items. One with a spoiled tomato and one with a good tomato. So let me go to the list mode here. So you see that I have this my spoiled column here, and if I will go to this item cart, I have here spoiled field. So, but before turn it on, I will show you purchase order. So I have created purchase order here with 2 different tomatoes, and I will not post it, but I will use posting preview, and if I will post it, so it's post automatic, it's post, yeah, so don't give me any errors. Now let me now turn it on, and we'll go to purchase order once again. Preview posting. And it should give me an error. And it doesn't give me an error. I think I know, but I need to, it didn't save me that. Okay, now it should give me an error. Let's try once again. Preview. Yeah, so you have spoiled food. So this is my sandbox. Let's try to open a production tenant. This is my production tenant of Business Central. I'm not cheating here. And I will go to extensions. I don't have this extension here. I go to manage and upload extension, and I select my app file. So this is my app file created now with the version 1. And here you have options to deploy to a current version or to the next minor or major version. So I will deploy to a current version. That means that this extension will automatically be published and installed right now. If you will select next minor or next major version, that will mean that it will not be installed until the next version of Business Central will be installed. Just so your app will be installed with next minor version, so or with next major version. And I use accept here. And there is a window here, deployment status. If I will check here, oh, come on. That's, I think that was not those. That's very strange, actually. It should be.
Dmitry, somebody from Microsoft told me that if you use a GUID for your app, and even if you completely unpublish it and never use it again, and then nobody else is using that GUID, but in 6 months from now it will show up somewhere again, it will still be blocked. It will be blocked forever and ever.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Let's try.
But
Okay.
this is actually a very good. I mean, I know that you didn't prepare for this, but I think this is a very important thing to mention in the webinar.
Okay.
A GUID once used is never allowed to be used again. Never. Until eternity.
Well, where is my... Okay. Let me check. I want to change GUID, okay. Generate, insert GUID, or create GUID. That's what I use usually. Actually, this will break a little bit of my demos, but I want to show you how it should look like in a production tenant. So let's... So GUID, create new GUID. Red. I will actually copy that. So let me create my app file once again. Let's try now. Load extension. That's strange. No, it's still give me an error.
Are you sure this was the correct error message, Dimitri? Because it said 4 minutes ago. Maybe the fresh error is the other one. It's the same name and publisher, so you really have to change everything.
Oh my god, that's...
But honestly, don't worry, Dimitri. This is perfect because this is exactly what people should see.
Okay.
It's a very important lesson.
Yeah, because actually what I did before preparations, I created a fresh production tenant. Yeah, and 1 hour ago, I just uploaded this app. Let's maybe change that. Okay.
Now, maybe just to be sure, you should just create another ID just to be sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Just one more GUID. And now it should work. But imagine, Dimitri, what this means for salespeople, you know, if you have a per
Yeah.
tenant app and people want to
That's
play with it.
actually very strange. I
It's
didn't know
horrible.
that.
Well, I didn't know it either. I was in, I think it was at Directions that I attended the session where somebody from Microsoft said this.
Okay, it should be this one. So delete. Let's try once again. Dimitri. So, well, it's installing. So we do. So what I want.
Oh, now you want to remember those. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because I created different branches for my demo. So let's see what's happening. Still working. I will actually commit and I will go to a second version. So with the second version, what I want actually to do.
Do you still have the donut of death in the other screen or
Let me check.
not anymore?
Oh yeah, I have this app now.
Yay! You know, if you had prepared this as a demo, you know, this would have been gold. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's what I learned myself now.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, we actually don't have enough time, but I will let's show you briefly what I'm going to do next. So imagine that when you so you upload this app, there's everything perfect, and but then you decided to change a type of this boolean. So you have now a spoiled field as a boolean, just spoiled or not, and you decided to make it an option. Yeah. So I created an option like a enum here with different values. So fresh, soft, and spoiled. And what to do actually in that case? You have to make the first field as obsolete. But if you want to transfer the values from that field to a new field, you have to make obsolete status pending, because you will use this field in upgrade code unit. So I have created here upgrade code unit, and I use here upgrade per company. So if I will go here, I created a separate code unit to move values from one field to another. And first thing that I'm checking that I am doing that for the second version. Because if you will have, for example, version number 3, and in the version number 3 there will be some another upgrade code unit, So you should skip this logic. So I should check that the version that I'm installing right now equals to second one. If so, I transfer value from item. So I will go here. I just go through item records and copy, not copy that if spoiled is true, then I define level as spoiled. And what's also important, you should use synchronize schema update always. Just remember, if you published just after a second when you published your first app to a production tenant, you should never change schema update mode to recreate, because with a schema update, a recreate will not be possible to upload to a production tenant. So always use synchronize. That will push you to use upgrade code unit. So let me check if I can. Actually, I should replace it here with those values. And I will package that. So this is old one, I will delete it. And this is new one. So I will go to my production tenant. I will not go to a sandbox. We don't have time for that. Let me just go to items. I also have here these two items. I will turn this option on, and I will go here and upload extension with the second version. So this is my Dmitry second version. Let's try. So let's see deployment status. So it seems it's in progress. We have here refresh.
I think somebody in Denmark still has to push a button somewhere.
Oh yeah, true cloud. Okay, let's wait here. Well, it's should finish that, and I will describe a little bit what will happen next. So imagine, I think I have about 5 minutes left, so I will try to finish. I have here the third version of this app. So this is, I think, this one. Here we'll commit that. So the idea is that, oh my God, what's going on? Oh yeah, actually this is the next good error. When you uploaded an app file from the web browser, it is locked here. So you actually, what you need to do, you will need to, yeah, now we have actually the second version. We need to refresh this, and yeah, it's disappeared here. Okay. I will go to the third version. And imagine that on the third version, you want to use some AI to analyze these spoiled tomatoes. So actually, I used custom vision service to train my model and to analyze if these tomatoes are spoiled or not. So actually, what I did, I removed the first field that I had, and I also removed the second field. Now I don't have any additional fields in item cart. What I have here, some upgrade code unit to a version number 3. And in this upgrade code unit, I actually populate default values for custom vision service. So URI and a key. So if I will go here, package this. Oh yeah, I need to change once again this app. Delete it. Package once again. And I will return here. Actually, you see that the second version here is installed and the version 1 is not installed. I don't know why it exists here. I asked that Microsoft. Maybe Mark, you know. But this doesn't influence on the process. So if we'll go to items list here with the version number 2 and go here, you will see that my upgrade code unit was executed, and now I have this quantity level spoiled here. So if I will go now to an extension and upload the third version of this extension, it will be uploaded, but while it's uploading, very important information. I have here upgrade code unit, and when I will upload this app to my tenant that where I already have this app, everything will work fine. Yeah, so this upgrade code unit will run, and it will populate this URI and prediction key. But if I will try to upload this app to a empty Business Central, to a Business Central where this app was never installed before, I will not have this field populated, because when you install app for the first time, upgrade code unit don't run. To populate these fields for the first time app, you need to create install code unit. So, and I have here install code unit, and here I have a function handle fresh install. And also important stuff, you should check if this is first install of an app, because if even in a production tenant you have an opportunity to uninstall app and install it once again. If you have some functions that will populate default values, in those situations, it will upload these default values once again, and it can potentially delete values that your customer have already inputted. That actually was the case that we've got during our project. So you should check if this is the first install of your app. If this is the first install, you actually do the same. So populate default URI, and also you can enable web service call in a sandbox. So let's go here. Let's see if we have now the third version. So, and I'm finishing my demos. I will go to item, and if I will go here, I will not have any fields. But if I will go to purchase orders, we have this purchase order here. Come on, come on, come on. And if we will run this preview posting, it will it should show me the error now. Yeah, so we don't have any fields now. Yeah, so what he is doing, he took that picture of that spoiled tomato and go to this custom vision service, and if I will update predictions here, I should see one or maybe one picture where it said that this is good tomato with a 2%, and it means that it's spoiled tomato, and that's why I show here an error. So actually what I'm doing here, yeah, I'm analyzing this probability and showing error if you have low probability of good tomato. Yeah, now so actually I finish.
Yeah, we should wrap up. I think looking at your code, there's also a good other takeaway. That is that in your code, you don't use the xlef files, but you just put in the error messages without even using text constants. If you create per tenant extensions, it's fine to work without the translation, right?
Yeah,
that's very important.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, these are some links to this. Actually, this is a link to this GitHub repository with these demos that I showed today.
Yeah, so that answered one of the questions. Yeah, so somebody said, "Can you please share this code with the newbies?"
Yeah, so this code is already shared. You can just go here. Also, I have about 6 or maybe 7 different blog posts about upgrade installing process of Business Central per tenant apps. You can go here on this link to read more. Also, AJ have a good post about Business Central tenant customizations and docs.
So one of the questions, Dimitri, is if you make a field obsolete and you replace it with another field, you write the upgrade code unit. Of course, that requires a lot of discipline. But when will eventually be the field removed? Will it ever be removed, or?
Yeah, good question. Actually, if field exist, if old field exists in upgrade code unit, it cannot be marked as removed. If you want just to delete field without any upgrade code unit, yeah, you can mark it as removed, like I did here.
But can you really remove it from the table object, or will it always be there in the metadata?
Oh yeah, I think it's always be there, but it's not be accessible.
Yeah, exactly. So it will always hunt you forever.
Oh yeah.
So Imran is asking, can you actually, and I think you already mentioned it as a question to yourself, if you go to the extension page in the web client, you now have the same icon 3 times.
Yeah.
Can you actually hide uninstalled extensions or completely remove it? Or, I mean, what if you have 12 versions or 20 versions? Will you see?
Actually, we can just try. I think I tried that, but I don't remember. So now I have 3 different versions. Let me try to
Completely remove version 1.
Unpublish this one.
So now we have the donuts of death again. Yeah, okay, so that worked. So eventually, as a power user, you can clean up after a while.
Yeah, I think you can clean up, but let me check if. Yeah, but I think it should.
I was actually, I actually heard somebody at Microsoft also say that in one of the future builds of Business Central, they want to create some logic that if nobody is using an old version of your app anymore, eventually you will lose the fields that you discontinued. But for now, it doesn't work like that yet. So Hendrik is asking, will the metadata field number 50,001 be locked forever? So essentially, yes. And so that field will be there until Microsoft comes up with a story to really remove it.
Yeah, that work.
So currently there is no story for that. So we have a few minutes left, and I do have a hard stop at 5. So let me browse through the questions to see if we have some interesting questions. We have a couple of people trying to help you solve your issues, which is very friendly.
Thank you.
Somebody is asking, is it possible to extend standard code units, so posting routines?
If there are some events published, then yes.
Yeah, exactly. But there still are a lot of Microsoft objects without events, right? I think the majority of the Microsoft objects still don't have events in them.
Yeah, and also
I think somebody said only 15% of the objects have events.
Yeah, and even if they have published events, they don't have, I think, in a 90% handled pattern.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You
really have to be careful. Somebody may do something first, and
yeah.
You
cannot, in most cases, you cannot skip Microsoft code. You can
no.
You can just execute your code before or after.
We have a couple of people asking for your code. So we already have mentioned that. I think we covered most of the questions. So I think one of the most important key takeaways, at least for me from this webinar, is that coding for per tenant apps in Business Central requires a lot more discipline than on Seaside. On Seaside, you have full control. On Seaside, you can go to SQL and fire up a SQL statement. And in Business Central, there is just no such thing. Any final things you want to mention to the crowd, Dimitri, before we wrap up?
First of all, this was experience also for me, because actually I didn't know that the same patent customization I cannot upload to second production tenant. That's something strange for me.
Yeah. So we learned that.
Yeah, we learned that. And the second thing, I want to thank everybody for coming. And as I will not have the opportunity, I want to congratulate you with holidays, upcoming holidays.
Yeah, let's say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I will wish more learning, more new stuff, more learning next year. And yeah, I hope that next year will be even more exciting than the current year.
Oh yeah, and never stop learning. Okay, thanks everyone, and let's meet again next year. Bye bye.
Bye bye.